And okay, we're up and running. Okay, today's episode, Andy, I'm calling it the lockdown show because we're locked.
Lovely.
The lockdown, you know. I've got Andy Ryan, Andy, head coach of Team Ryano, one of the originators of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in Ireland and mixed martial arts for that matter. Andy is a Judo black belt, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. I think the second or third Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt in Ireland. Would that be right?
Second, John, and then me. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. And as I said, head coach of Team Ryano today. So let's start at the beginning. Let's go for what you're doing right now. So I'm trying to date every episode a little bit, Andy, with where we're at in terms of the coronavirus lockdown, because I keep thinking this is a kind of a bit of history we're involved in right now.
Yeah, it is big history. Yeah, it's Air World War II, or you want to call it. You know, it's something that we'll be talking about in the future. It's a bit crazy. This might sound mad, but I'm actually enjoying it a little bit. I don't mean on the health thing, but it sort of slowed me down to reevaluate a few things and to look at life and appreciate, you know, things at home and appreciate people in the gym and appreciate like you know, I've been mixing with yourself and the lads in Royal Grappling Academy, like other gyms around the area that, okay, we're very close to each other, but we're not fucking rivals, or we're not backbiting each other like some of the gyms in the area or around the country. So it sort of slowed me down, and I was glad, because I'm usually every night of the week I'm in the gym, and then I'm gone every weekend because I've got 10 affiliates around the country, and if it's not them doing seminars or training, I got a good big MMA team. So we're at nearly most shows in Ireland, and then with the big boys and the Bellator and stuff. So we're busy. So I think it slowed me down a little bit. I appreciate a few things. Right,
that sounds interesting. Yeah, because I know like some people are going mad at home. They're going crazy, but
I am going mad in little ways. I just had to, but I run every night of the week. I go out in the evening time as if I'm going. You know, I think to myself, but I'm out about 8 o'clock, so I will be in the gym at night time, because I think Claire and the kids would kill me if I was here every night, you know, because my whole life, I've never been here in the evening times. Like yourself, you know, my whole life, when I was in the army and come training with Judo, I was gone. I didn't go home 10, half 10 at night, and that was my life, you know what I mean? So I try and go out every evening. I leave the house at 8, drive up to the park, meet the old Judo coach, and we just do 4 or 5K every night of the week. And we're only pottering. We're not fucking, you know what I mean? But for me, it was a good time to sort of, I had a lot of things on. I lost total motivation for jiu-jitsu the last couple of years. I found it very hard to get on the mat and train, and I found it very hard to compete. I lost that buzz altogether, and I lost that sort of, I don't want to say killer instinct, but I always had a thing in my head that I'm on the mat, I'm going to give it my best here, you know? And I lost that. I'm worrying about things, and I never liked that before, but I sort of figured out that now, and I found out a few things. I'll fill you now in a minute about that, which is getting in order for me now at this moment, so I was glad.
Yeah, because it's, I was saying it's a little bit, the last, well, certainly the first 2 weeks for me, I was comparing it when people were messaging me. I have a couple of mates abroad, you know, they're asking, everybody's trying to compare notes with you, what's happening? Lads I grew up with. And they're asking me, and I said, look, at the moment, it's a little bit like Christmas or your summer holiday. Because everybody's out and it's kind of relaxed, and it's like, well, look, I'm off work for a couple of weeks. So, you know, it's maybe a few extra glasses of wine the odd time, or maybe, you know, playing Xbox with the kids and doing weird stuff like that, you know, that I wouldn't normally do. And it was a bit relaxing, like you say. But now I'm getting itchy now. I'm getting very itchy.
Well, I've been keeping myself busy doing stuff, but I think the first 2 weeks I was still getting the guys out in the park to run and stuff and do other bits and pieces and trying to organise group sessions, feeling guilty that I hadn't got a class on. And then it wasn't until one or two of the guys said to me, look, we can't come running with elderly grandparents, or look, we've this and we've that. I said, oh, Jesus, you know, I'm thinking I'm trying to help them out, but I was probably hindering a lot of people. And then my own, like, I'm an asthmatic myself, and my own young one has like a about as a thing, the Crohn, and so she's an immune suppressor stuff and abusers, whatever you call them. So it was probably crazy me going out anyway and doing sessions with groups of people. But that's just that thing of you feel you're letting people down and need to keep people busy and trying to organise videos, and we organise them a couple of little sit downs and doing techniques and stuff. You know what I mean?
So even I was saying, I was saying that yesterday. Like even at that, I was getting dodgy about them because like I'm not to go into too much later, but like my dad's 87. 87
oh right,
yeah, and but he's got one lung, right? He's only got one lung. He had tuberculosis as a kid. He lived through Ireland's last big health crisis, human health crisis, anyway.
Yeah, crazy.
And so it's mad. So, but I'm his only kind of myself and my sister are in Dublin, like, and everybody else is around the country, and four other sisters, like, or four sisters, like, but there's only myself and one of my sisters are in Dublin, and she was actually in isolation because her daughter had coronavirus. She's a health worker, so I was the only one looking after him. And then I had to think to myself, you know what, I better make sure I've got I better make sure I know everybody I'm talking to, and I know where they've been. So you kind of start to think more in terms of your community, don't you? You start to think, where have I been? You know, it's an unusual circumstance to be in.
Yeah, I think as well we slowed down and we're being a bit more like you're talking to people, you're talking to neighbours, still get some dickheads out there trying to be smart focused, but you get most people are a bit more friendlier. It reminds me of being a kid in the 80s where at Christmas, came Christmas week, nothing opened anyway. There was no shops or bars or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had a holy hour on a Sunday. It has that whole feel to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the holy hour, Jesus. Yeah. We're talking about Good Friday. It's only 2017 since Good Friday was.
But we had the Sunday where the pubs closed at 2:00 and they reopened at 4 or 5 or something. Yeah. So Jesus, and the shops in the shopping centre, the news ain't open till 12:30 till the last mass, and then it closed. That's right, you know what I mean? Or if you got money at Christmas, you couldn't buy it until the 4th of January because shops didn't open for that Christmas week.
Right, yeah, no Stephen's Day sales or anything like that, was there?
No,
was nothing like that.
Such thing. And even you wouldn't even get a garage out on Christmas Day. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I had that whole feel of being young and thinking of that, But we've had to be getting good weather, so that's what's good.
Yeah. Well, I was out walking last night. I took the dog for a walk last night, and I was like, something's unusual. I didn't know what it was. Right, I couldn't place it because I kind of got lost in myself a little bit. And it was I could smell all the bushes and the hedges. I could smell everything. And then I was like, okay, but that's not unusual. Around this time of year, it's lovely smells off the foliage or whatever. But after a while, I was, do you know what it is? There's no cars. So even at 10 o'clock at night, there'd still be cars zipping up and down my road. I'm on a busy road.
Yeah.
Jesus, no cars. That's what it is. It's strange, But like you say, like Christmas week in the 80s or something. Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it, all right.
Yeah. So halfway guys wouldn't understand that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's people sitting at home now going, what? I wasn't even alive in the 80s. That's
exactly.
But so listen, we're going to delve into a bit of history, and I know that we might be going back to when Moses was a boy to try and find out when you started martial arts. But we spoke a little bit about this on the Black Belts Roundtable we did with Roger and Foxy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and you gave a couple of little small bits of where you started and how you started and all. It wasn't Judo originally, was it? Judo was your first big martial art, but you'd started with other bits and pieces, hadn't you? No,
what happened was, when I was a kid, so the big things on the TV then was Monkey Magic, the Water Margin, that was your martial arts, Kung Fu. I used to bleed love Kung Fu when you remember that? David Carradine.
Carradine, yeah.
So that was all the big thing I used to watch. So a friend of mine, Glenn Murphy, did karate. He did Waterloo, and I went to see him competing one time out at the airport there. And I said, I want to do this, So there was a martial arts club in Calesta, the Dago Clan, great little venue. It's actually lying idle there. It doesn't need head in when I go buy it. I think Nama have it. I'd love to. Anyone I know Nama who owns that, give me a shout. I want to reopen that place, clean it up. It's a great little facility.
That's just off when you walk out of Calesta, the art station, right? It's right there. Yes, right in front.
Yeah, we've had some of the 4-7 sessions in there, and a few people trying in that place, a few stars. But that was a great little place. So I went to that place thinking I'm going to karate, but it was a judo night that was on there. Judo was Tuesday, Thursday. I think Kempo was Monday, Wednesday. And the judo club owned the building. And I just started it, and I got the love of it. Now, I still did a little bit of karate in the area I was in, on and off. And I boxed in Trinity Boys for a couple of years as well, But judo and the grappling arts were my favourite, I suppose.
Yeah, and that was, what year was that? You placed that?
But that would have been, I was 6 when I went to judo, so it would have been 78, 79, around that time. And I got my ass kicked. I remember getting beaten as a kid, 6, 7, 8, and I think I was about 9. I won a trophy, 1982. My dad actually has the plaque still in his house up on the mantelpiece. It was my first Judo plaque. The Cavan Open, 1992, and actually one of my students in the gym. His father actually beat me. He was a couple of years older than me. And so, you know yourself. Can you hear me there?
I can hear you there now, yeah. Yeah, you've shifted
my
a bit.
Sound on this end is not great.
Okay, no bother. Can you hear me now?
Shit. Anyway, so that was it. And then I was a couple of years then before I sort of come into my own then. Before I started, fucking doing decent enough anyway, or winning competitions or anything like that, you know what I mean?
If you see me kind of moving my thumbs here, right, in the camera, I don't know which camera was on there.
I can see it, but I can't. Back. Hang on.
What I've been doing, go on, you keep working away there. What I've been doing is, I think, Andy, this could be yours. If it was 79 when you started, this is your 6th decade involved in martial arts then. 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. 6 decades. Andy, you back with me now? We've lost Andy for a second there. Hold on, we see if we can raise him again. Andrew, are we there? Hello? Couple of tech issues here. Andy, are you back now? Do we have you? No sign yet. Andy is back with us now. Sorry about that, guys. Andy, are you there? There you are. You're gonna need to turn your audio on there. I think we don't have your audio.
Yeah, you hear me?
We have you back. Okay, welcome back. What I was just saying was that if so 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s.
Yeah,
this is your 6th decade in martial arts. That's a crazy statistic for a man who's so young, Andy. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm 47 now in a couple of weeks. So my 5th decade would have been,
Well, no, because if you did you say you started in 79? So
the end,
So in your 6th, you're in your 6th decade.
That's
you're an alpha,
right?
Yeah.
I know,
mad, isn't it? So you just started right. We're right at the start of this decade. You started right at the tail end of the 70s.
Yeah.
But just as I was being born, friends. So I was born in 78. I was born in 78. So there you go.
Yeah. And I always remember that Judo club, the Leicester. It was fucking freezing, always cold. And they had the old traditional tatami mats with the straw and the board, and then the covering over it, And then they got a few decent mats in, and you'd be looking for the decent mats to warm up on, because in the cold weather, the bleeding things would freeze. And if you got one of them, you're in trouble. You'd be bleeding bounced off it,
Jesus, that's mad, isn't it? So show you how far we've come, right? So there's no way.
It's great. That's the thing as well with jiu-jitsu and MMA. It leapfrogged a lot of martial arts in Ireland, because a lot of martial arts don't have full-time facilities, or full-time mat areas. Judo was my backbone of my life, and there was no full-time place. The only little place was the Dagokan Judo Club that sort of fell apart. But most of the big clubs, it was 2 or 3 nights, put mats down for an hour. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. We do. I did like. I suppose it does sound like you're an alpha when you're talking things, when you're saying to people, "Oh, you don't know how lucky you have it." But really, genuinely, when you walk into a club now, there's a good chance Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and MMA club. There's a very, very good chance they have a full-time facility, a full-time building. They have the mats down permanently. That was unheard of. In the 80s.
Yeah, but there's probably Judo and all still don't have that. I think Swords have a full-time Judo club. I know there's a full-time one in Galway. That's it. There's 1 or 2. I think on the west coast of Ireland. I think there's a big one over there. Just, where every jiu-jitsu club is nearly a full-time gym. You know what I mean? It's mad.
Yeah, mad. It's crazy. I suppose with that, right, you kind of get the back end of that, which is that they're also businesses, so they have to act like businesses, which isn't always healthy, is it? Like it's if a guy's less, should we say, motivated by teaching his students and more motivated by keeping the doors open or giving himself a wage, he might make decisions that are based on money rather than on jiu-jitsu itself, right? So you have that as well.
Yeah. I think sometimes as well we have to look at ourselves and say, well, hang on a minute, no, this is their job as well. For years I didn't. I treated it like a hobby, and I think one stage someone had to sit me down and said, Andy, this isn't your hobby. Stop treating it like a hobby. And I sat down with a number of people in the gym. I think I had 38 people training for free at one stage. And I'm sort of saying to myself, yeah, but he does this and he helps out, and I know his kids. No, it's a business. You don't have another job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why
have to, yeah.
We do treat it like a hobby because we come from that. Mark, you come from taekwondo and stuff where you've been putting the mats out, and you're coming from your job, or the fella who's running taekwondo has a job as it is, and it's a hobby, and you pay a couple of quid to get on the mat, and if you miss it, you miss it. It's no big deal. It's not the end of the world. But now we're running facilities and gyms, big mat areas, big bills to be paid, which we see now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we have to be more professional about it. And a thing I didn't do, it's actually Roger Dardis said to me a few years ago. He said to me, and you don't sell yourself. And I said, what do you mean? Well, you and John Cabinet are the guys who were in, the UFC stuff. These are the two senior guys for the jiu-jitsu when it started here. And, you don't push that sort of way. You don't sell yourself enough. You know what I mean? So. Yeah,
so like you've, like we're going to go through a bit more of what, like the past in a second, but even just like if you take a review of the present of what you've achieved and like forget about the UFC or forget about titles or the amount of black belts that you have, even just to start this sport, like, and this martial arts, like you were instrumental in it starting. So like take us back to like how you got from judo into jiu-jitsu and MMA. Like what was the transition there?
So for me, I was still competitive judo in the sort of, say, 96, 97. And John Donnelly's father and a good friend of mine, Jerry O'Grady, God rest him, passed away. They were messing them. Jerry had a gym, the Flex gym in town. So I threw a couple of mats in it. And I used to do a little bit of judo training. They do me uchikomi there, and they do me weight sessions there. And that's where I learned how to squat with Jerry. Jerry's one of the best. You can go to the Hercules gym, you'll see pictures of him on the wall. So I started there, and at the time, MMA was starting to come into the country. Well, it was the first year I see videos out, and there was a couple of Pride stuff and a few things floating around, and Peter Donnelly had videos of them. So I started messing about in the gym, and we'd put boxing gloves on, and we'd do a bit of judo, and we didn't have a clue what we were doing. So I was doing that, and I'd met John as well, and John was coming over to me, and I go over to him the odd day, but I was still trying to make the Olympics in Sydney, so I couldn't really give it full on, you know what I mean? And we didn't know what we were doing either, because we were doing jiu-jitsu thinking it was MMA. We were doing MMA thinking it was bleeding jiu-jitsu because we were watching the Gracies, you know what I mean? It wasn't until now really we look back and say, no, they're two different sports, and they're different. It's different ways of life and whatever. And jiu-jitsu and MMA have gone two totally different paths, I think, anyway. The level of athletes and the training, it's amazing compared to what we were doing then. So it was a bit messing about, and then that we've done that on and off for a couple of years, Barry. A couple of years messing in Jerry's place, and then I had the little Dago Hand Judo Club, and I had that at the end of the 90s. I think 98, 99, 2000, around that time. And I started doing a bit of training there. And just a Saturday, and you'd come down to the gym at 3 o'clock, and we'd probably go for a run first, do 5 or 6K run. Then we might play a football match. Then someone had to learn to put pads on a video of toy boxing. We might do something like that. Then when the lads did a bit of boxing, then we do a bit of judo. Then we'd make stuff up. Could be 7 o'clock, we'd be finished on a Saturday evening. But there was no structure or time limit to it. And that was the sort of when I jumped from the judo and stuff into the MMA. And I was still trying to make the Olympics at the time. And then a few things come up in life, and I got a few injuries, and I broke my ankle, and I was misbehaving and other stuff, and I ended up getting a kick in the ass in 2000, and I retired from the judo. And I still didn't take jiu-jitsu or MMA serious, because I'd been sort of a full-time athlete to a degree. I was in the army, they didn't give me plenty of time to train, and I competed at a high enough level. Competed at a high enough level the wrong way, and without the education from a small sport, if you know what I mean. I I was cutting weight wrong. I was fighting at weights I shouldn't have been fighting at. I was always trying to fight a weight lower. So I used to walk around about 96 kilos, 97 kilos probably. And I'd be lean enough and I'd be tall and I ran all the time. And I was always told, oh, you're too small for 90s. You got to go to 81. And I'd say, okay, right, I got to 81. I go to 81, but I never performed. I could never compete at the level. It was a different speed than 90, if you know what I mean. You see it in the jiu-jitsu.
Right, yeah. You can see it, like, even watching it, like, for, I suppose, I'd call myself a novice judo player, like, and even watching some of the heavyweight judo is a completely different sport, right? It's almost a different game to the lighter weights.
Yeah, I just found that, see, originally the way the weights were, they changed the weights. So originally the weights were up to about 97, I think it was, or 98. The weights were 60, 65, 71, 78, 86, 95, and then over 95. Then they changed it to 60, 66, 73, 81, 90, 100, and over 100. So I was stuck in the middle of, I used to compete at 86. Do I go to 90 or do I go to 81? And I was 90 and I won a few World Championships at 90, and I got a good bit of, I won competitions in the UK and Scotland at 90, and I won things in small nations, Malta, Cyprus. So it was really, really good. And it's sort of a level, if you want to say, you know, that's undertone of the next level up, you know. And then I wanted to take the next step up, and I was told, "Yeah, you're too small for that 90. You want to get to 81." And I was cutting to make 81, and I just didn't perform. I think I went into 9 events, and I got beaten in every one in the 4th round. Didn't know what I was doing. I was dehydrated. I wasn't eating for a week. Bad preparation. Massive things I look down and say, "Fucking hell, how did I do them?" I remember being told I won the All-Irelands on a Saturday, and it was Sunday morning. We had a squad after it, and I was told, I won the All-Irelands at 90 kilos on the Saturday. Sunday, I'm back up to about 94, 95, and we're on a squad in Tipperary it was, and I was told, "Oh, you're going next week to Austria for the Olympic qualifiers at 81 kilos." So I didn't eat food for a week, went out 4th round. Stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later
How could you do anything? You wouldn't be able to do a few push-ups on that, like, with that level of weight cut, right?
No. And now I look back, I said I should have always been at 90. I should have competed at 90 because I always had short, big legs and a long body, and I remember I was doing a weightlifting course there with an Olympic weightlifter, and he said to me, "You're made for Olympic lifting." He said, "You have the short legs and long body, and you have big legs, and you have great, because I can squat easy and drop, be supple enough." And I was looking back then and I was saying, and I was talking to him about the weight and the categories and what I did. He said, "That's crazy." He said, that's an uneducated thing, looking at you for height, for weight, It's not about that. No. Look at the size of your hamstrings. Look at your calves. You have huge legs compared to that skinny 81 kilo guy. You see it all the time. It's like Redzer. We put Redzer in the UFC to 66s. He couldn't perform. He got knocked out. But he's good at 70. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So I was uneducated in the judo with the weight. So I suffered, I felt, in the last year in the judo, and I didn't enjoy it. So that was 2000. I ended up retiring. So then when I took up the MMA and Jiu Jitsu, it was a hobby. And like I jumped in MMA fights. I won a few here in Ireland. I jumped in and I got my ass kicked by a man, Tengus, whatever his name is, and played in England. I hadn't sparred.
Tengus Tedoradze. Yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah, I remember the fight actually. Yeah.
What happened was, he'd know what to fight, and it was about 2 weeks now. I said, "I'll go over and jump in and give him a scrap." I'd never been sparring with a heavyweight boxing around. I went over, took didn't train for it. I was on that. You know what it's like. When you compete at a high level, say, and then you stop. It's hard to get that level of training back. I couldn't get it back. I was, this was a hobby now, and I took the MMA as a hobby. I went and got my ass kicked. Yeah.
It's hard to get hard to get motivated when you've been when you've been at such a level. Then it's hard to kind of drop back down, right?
Cut away for years, like 10, 15 years. Cut away, traveling the world. Broke up. And then I was doing this MMA event with no really structure of training. I got battered. I got fucking killed, to be honest with you. And I found then to be sat down, okay, at that stage, I jumped in and I was sick as a dog, and I fought another fight and I lost. And I said, "Look, I'm not training for these the way I should be training. I'm not doing what I should be doing as an athlete. I got to become a coach and maybe enjoy the jiu-jitsu then. You know what I mean?"
Yeah, and like, was it Jiu-Jitsu or MMA that drew you to kind of, like, which was it that drew you to the sport.
I think that watching Hoist Gracie and him and the Guy and you know, I fought my judo suit when I go for a few events up in in Belfast. Put my judo suit on and have scraps. You know what I mean? It was great. I think it was the jiu-jitsu for me because I always liked the grappling arts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was the old school variation. Yeah.
Yeah, boxing Trinity boys. I wasn't great at boxing, and I did a little bit of kickboxing. I wasn't great, and I liked the grappling, and I liked, you know. I used to say to myself, I wasn't very technical, and then it wasn't. You think these things yourself. I was more rough, and it was the fitness thing. But fellas said, no, you were technical. You know, you were throwing fellas in the fucking head. You know what I mean? They have to be technique to do that. You know.
For years, Andy. Since I've known you, in fact, probably we probably met around 2004, 2005 originally, was it? Around that? I'd say around then. And since I've known you, since actually then, that's one of the things I noticed now. You always kind of ran yourself down, your technique, like your technical level down, as opposed to, you always knew, I think you always knew you were good, right? But that was one of the things that I always found very surprising about you, that you've got that kind of, you always say like, I was roughing them, like, you know, but like, every time, even when we were doing the videos with Roger and Foxy there, like I was learning loads as we were doing it, just even little bits and pieces what you were doing with the stand-up. I was like, this is great stuff, like, you know. But it seems to be a common theme with you.
Yeah, it's a bad thing, probably, you know. Someone said it to me as well when I come back from the Pan Ams in 2011, and I won it, and someone said, you won the Pan Ams. It was actually Fergal Quinlan. You won the Pan Ams. I said, yeah, but, you know, it was only a Masters. No. You went over to America. You're an Irish guy, and you fought all Americans and fellas in big gyms. I fought all good big gyms, and you won. You won it, like.
Yeah.
No, but it was Masters. It's different. You know what I mean?
the Irish modesty coming out in you then, like, that's the you know, that's the Catholic upbringing, Andy. That's what that is. That's that's Catholicism leaking out of you there. That's it. That's your 1980s upbringing again.
It probably is. It's probably you know, wouldn't know what it was. You know what I mean? It was, but I was only you know, and I think I was a little bit like that in the judo as well. It wasn't until I finished and I looked back and said, fuck me, I was better than I thought I was. You know what I mean? And geez, I won a lot of stuff that people didn't do, and you know, and it's like the jiu-jitsu as well here. You know, I've won the force on the block doing it, and you don't appreciate it until other people say it to you. You know, you bump into someone and someone says it to you. You know what I mean?
It's and then people say to you, "Oh, look, did you do that? Did you do that? Were you there? Oh yeah, my friend knows you, and my friend knows your name." Sometimes people say that to me. Oh, someone said to me, "Oh yeah, you've got a great," and I actually go, geez, I didn't think that people would know me. You know, I know my name. You know, even with a bit of I suppose even with the bit of, like, I'm not saying fame, but the bit of notoriety that comes with being like a jiu-jitsu black belt these days. You know.
Yeah. That's the other thing as well. I find certain things MMA now. I will be a little bit different as a coach. You sort of don't appreciate yourself, and then you start to skimp. You know, I'm only from Dublin, and what happened to me was I was at one of the IMAFs, and Swedish guy came out to me and he said, "Oh, I just wanted to put a face to the name. We see your guys fighting all over Europe," he said, and I seen you blah blah blah, and you were in Sweden. We seen you with your Neil Series in Sweden, and we see your guys at the IMAFs, and jeez, great job. And I said, Jesus, there's something Sweden knows me, you know. And you sort of, you know, but I took that on a little bit, and Joe Clifford used to say to me the same thing. You know, you got to be a bit more, you know, brag about it a little bit. But so that's hard. I find that hard to do. But I tell you one thing I did do when I do feel, and when I go to shows now, and I suppose I've always done a little bit in the MMA, I make sure people know we're there to win. We're not there to be laughed at or pissed on. But we're going to be sportsmen. We'll be very humble getting in and out of the cage. We won't badmouth. We won't do anything, but we're there. But if someone comes to start shit with us, we'll fucking give shit back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to make sure, yeah.
And the other thing, I always do a lot of, if I'm going to the corner, and I do this in my mind, it's probably a stupid thing. People don't realize. If I'm in a fight, so say my last fight, I had Mark Alvin fighting, he was fighting one of Chris Fields' lads. And when we get to the corner, if he gets into the corner before me that round, no problem. I get in the next one. But if I get in for the first round, I will wait and let that other guy in first for the second round to be fair, if you know what I mean. I try not. I hate when I see fellas running and pushing each other at the fucking gate and being disrespectful. It's a fucking, especially in most lads, it's a sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like Mark and that kid, battered each other, and they were back and work Monday morning. You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, that's it. And I think most people appreciate that, don't they? But there is the odd fellow who doesn't.
Yeah, but at the same time, I've often been at a show, and I said to lads, we go in here and anyone starts giving us shit, I'm going to fucking wreck this kip. And that's a little bit because sometimes people try and intimidate fighters, you know. And even if I'm in the cage, and I'll be very respectful to the other corner, it doesn't matter what the result. We win or lose, we wreck the other corner. But if we're blatantly robbed, I'll still be respectful to the fighter, but I let people know running the show he's a fucking robbing bastard. You know what I mean? Like I thought for Constantine's fight on Bellator, he was going to rob him. Thought we were going to rob him. We had a great fight. He fought a very good French kid, Al Jones. Fourth round was close, and Constantine easily won the next 2 rounds. Easily, everybody. And then it's called a split decision. I said to Neil, he said, Neil, if they rob him, I'm going to smash this show up. I'm going to smash every monitor around this place. I said, this is fucking wrong. Now, the decision went the right way. The other corner knew and all. They said it was congratulations, and, you know, he's won the fight fairly. That's great. Shook hands. Brilliant. But some judges don't realise what's going on at that level. You know what I mean? And it's
careers, right? Yeah, it's careers,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
careers and gyms and money and finances. And some fellas, because there might be a certain person in the corner, or a certain judge or referee, or a certain show comes and someone tries to, judges are trying to impress them. They get, you know, and when you see the guys that we know in the UK that do all the UFCs and all the big shows, and they're all scored the same way, and some of the guys going totally the opposite, you know.
Yeah, you know, there's been an influence there. Well, look, even a subtle influence. Like people say to me all the time, "Oh, they must have been, you know, bribery, robbery, anything like that." And it's not that. What it is when you're sitting there, is there's a pressure on you. Everybody feels everybody's a little biased and allows biases to come in. There is a little pressure on you. Yeah, that you feel, oh shit, like, am I making the right decision here? You know.
Yeah. So
and if you're not experienced, it's hard to.
Give an example as well. Keith McCabe and Philip Peter. I thought Keith done enough to win, and then it was very, very close because I was biased towards Keith. Then I talked to a few other people and everyone said, you know, listen, Andy, there was nothing in it. It just went the way of Philip. You know, and I couldn't really argue with too much of that because it was very close, and I wasn't sure at the end of each round. Not to be, you know, it's a close, very close round, but there's nothing to decide. But Constantine, like, fucking battered him for 2 rounds. Like, the third round could have been a 10-8 round. He had him in the ground, ground and pound for the whole round. So when you blatantly look at a fight and say no, it's like someone had to win a 10-0 and the referee give the match to the other team. But that's what annoys me. But a close fight, and as you say, you do be a bit biased for your own fighter, you know. But when you see a blatant misjudge of fucking rules or judges acting the bollocks, it's not nice. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're going way off talking about from when we started this. What?
We've drifted away. Here, I'll bring you back in. I'll pull you back in for a second because I'm going to show you a photo. Hold on a second.
Yeah, lovely.
There you go. How's that?
Yeah.
There you are. That's is that Pan Ams or Euros?
That's Euros.
Euros. That's from the Euros, is it? That's Uchimata. Yeah. That man's going for a trip, is he?
Yeah, and actually, I had a different plan in mind there. I only wanted him get him onto the ground. I wanted him sort of on his back, be honest with you, because at the time I was just new brown belt and I had toe holds in my mind. So I wasn't too worried about the throw. Just get him down. I wanted to try a toe hold. Get him
anywhere, and you were just going to try for your new thing. To be able to picture perfect there anyway. Someone's captured that nicely. That's actually Tommy Lake's photography, it says there. So there you go, another Irish man.
Yeah, Tommy, yeah. Remember Tommy, yeah.
There you go. Tommy was used to do all the. He used to do every show, right? You couldn't do a show without him, nearly.
Yeah, that's right.
So we've drifted away there a little bit, all right. Yeah, I had that image all lined up here just as you were talking about the Pan Ams, and then
I actually have a couple of his photographs here. Yeah,
a few up, all right. Yeah, we've yeah. I mean, we probably. I'm not to come in. I'm not giving you my. This is not the Barry Oglesby show by any stretch of the imagination. But I started training, which I met you around. I'll tell everybody a story now, right? The first time we ever met was in Harold's Cross in John's, and you broke my arm. That's a true story. Yeah, you dislocated my elbow. Yeah, you did. Well, I didn't know it was broken at the time. I only found out it was broken about 2 days later.
So I didn't do a good job.
you didn't do a good enough job. Well, what it was an arm bar. I don't know which arm is it. And I was trying to roll out. My arm went like that, bent. And there was a pop. And then a pop again. And you popped it out. I think you got a fright when you pop. You know when you pop something, it does happen the odd time. And you kind of pushed it forward. And obviously what happened is you broke it and then you unbroke it or you popped it back in. I had to drive home with one hand. I was like, something's not right here. My mate was with me and he was changing gear for me. And then I was like, okay, I've done this. I've not that I've hyperextended it or something. I didn't even know what happened. And in the end, I had to go for an X-ray about 2 days later, and I'd broken a little bone and dislocated it, and I've relocated it. And I always said it to people as well. I was like, yeah, what happened to first time I went, Andy broke my arm. But it was, I think it was just a roll. I don't think it was an intentional. I hope it wasn't intentional anyway.
I didn't even know.
But then I went training with you then in Euphoria Gym. And that was probably was that your first kind of MMA gym at that stage?
Yeah, we had the one in Glasnevin before that, but it was a bit mad. It wasn't that we were messing about, but it was the first one that we sort of went full-time, if you want to say. Semi-full-time. We had a class every day of the week. We had our own little... Willie Hanlon had a gym downstairs, a weights gym downstairs, and he had a spot upstairs, and I managed it out with a load of mats. And we put a partition, and we put a door and a lock on it. So, yeah, we had a full-time gym to say. There was, it wasn't a bad little place.
Yeah, it was a nice little spot, I remember. But that was the first time I'd gone down again, like kind of the first. I think at the time I had started like a training group. I'd said, right, formally, I said, look, right, I'm going to have
That's right, yeah. In the Scouts down, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then you opened up down the road and I went, Jesus, well, what am I doing here? I need people to train with, So I went down and I remember getting killed. Like, I don't know who it was. It's probably John Donnelly or someone or a couple of the judo lads you had down there at the time. And I was going, no, this is brilliant. This is what I want to do. But it was, yeah, they were great sessions. I remember them, all right, yeah. Old school. Like lads throwing up half and geese,
we had the double ropes hanging from the ceiling. We had the wrestling dummies. We had all the weights. We had big boxing area. So there was a lot of stuff there that people think they invented now. That you know what I mean? We were doing a long time ago, and we had BJ Penn training there for a couple of days with us.
That's right. I missed those sessions, but I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I remember that well.
Yeah.
And tell me this here before we go on. Actually, before we shoot too much into the future, let's talk about Roger Gracie for a minute. So, Roger was here in Dublin. And a lot of people, when I tell people that now, they go, what the fuck? Oh, really? I was like, yeah, I used to live here. That's true, right?
I have the videos.
To prove it.
Yeah, so he was here, and I think he was living and hanging around with Dave Roach, and he lived in a flat in Ballymun or something like that for a few weeks. And he was training with John. I think him and John had a bit of a falling out, and he went to England. But at the time, I have on tape, I think it's 1999, I have Hodger Gracie's seminar in Ireland. And I think he's a blue or purple belt. And he's his socks on him, and we're doing Keswick-Tammy's and skate from Keswick-Tammy's on it. And then I have a video then of me, him, John Cabinet, and Dave Roach rolling for about 45 minutes an hour in a little squash court with a mats down. And that was 21 years ago. 21 years ago. That's mad. And I have as well, you know what as well I have? I have a video of in 2000 or 99, I'm not too sure what it was, these martial arts associations here were starting to add in these grappling sections. And there was this, I think it's the World Organization of Martial Arts. They were having this competition. I think it was 1999. I'm not too sure. I think it's around that.
Andy, I'm going to correct you here because that was the year 2000. I fought in that championship. That was the AMA World Championships. I fought Taekwondo in that.
And it was in the basketball arena.
In the basketball arena, yeah.
Okay,
and I remember the grappling section because my mate competed in it. He was a judo. I think he was a judo blue belt or something like that at the time. And
so I went in for it, and I was warming up, and Bill McCann, our wrestling coach, was in it as well. And I'm warming up, and I'm throwing fellas around the place and up and down. And next of all, I see a few people scurrying over the corner, and there's a bit of a chat. And then we're called over, and the rules were changed. So the rules were, we're starting from our knees. There's no stand-up now. Because I was had to be fucking people through the air.
I think I remember that, yeah.
When I was doing me sort of, when you go to, right, let's get on the mat here. Let people know we know what we're doing. Get warmed up. Good Uchikomi on the mat. Get a good few throws in. People were looking. And, they weren't too fucking happy, you know what I mean? So I ended up fighting and starting from the knees. And when I watched it, and I said to myself, I must send you on a few of the clips. it's very much jiu-jitsu I was doing, but not known. I was pulling guard, playing the guard game, and doing me arm bars, jujikatamis from the guard. And when I look back and say, I don't do any of that now. I play a totally different game. I said, geez, I must get back. Obviously, that was my thing, because in Judo, I used to throw people. I look for the arm bars. I always done it. A few clips you'd see, and I'm always chasing the arm bar. And I don't go for it at all now. But that was the big thing. That was, I think I'm on it. I think John Donnelly. I think Dave Jones could be on it. Dave Roach. There's loads of buddies. They had a competition 2 years after that in Killarney. Were you at that one?
Probably. I don't remember, but was it a team? Was there a team grappling event at it?
They had everything in it, yeah. So we went into the 2 days. So the first day was like grappling competition, and I went by your martial art belt. So I was in the elite black belt division, and it was handy. It wasn't that mad.
Yeah, this is familiar. Yeah, I can't. Geez, I must, because I was probably at it, because like back then. We were talking about this actually the last day we were sitting down with Roger and Foxy. Back then, I competed probably like twice a month. Like if anything that was on, anything at all, we'd go in for it, you know.
Well, I on the second day, it was over the whole weekend. On the second day, I competed in the MMA sort of section. It was the Val Tudo or whatever you want to call it. But the rules were made there and then. So it was only me and another guy. You had to fight a black belt or somebody. So you know, if you were a blue belt in the sport, you couldn't fight it. So they matched me and this guy up in America, and the rules were he didn't want any low kicks. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't even know how to fucking kick. And you could wear your gi, or he could wear his karate outfit or whatever he was wearing. And when we went to the ground, you could only strike for 15 seconds. So lovely. So there was only me and him, and it was a big deal. And this was the elite thing, and he was this big superstar American guy, and we're warming up, and he's hitting pads, and I'm saying, fuck me, if he hits me, I'm dead. We go out anyway. There's a bit of it, throwing a couple of shots. We close in together. What do people do when you have a suit on? He fucking grabbed me. I buried him in a throw, and I jumped straight into a jujikatami as he hit the deck, and I broke his arm. And yeah, because it was competition, you know.
Yeah.
It was over in a couple of minutes, and I'm talking to the guy afterwards, and he was a really, really nice guy in America, and he's actually telling me that he actually took 3 months off work to train full time for this, because that organisation is big in America, and he's got a big
it was huge at the time. Yeah.
£1,000 loan and trained full time, and had this fight, and this was he was gonna start the MMA. I had no intentions of the MMA, you know. It was grappling to me, you know what I mean. But it was a great weekend. It was a bit of crack.
Yeah, well, I always missed what I missed about when we went from. I'll tell you what I didn't miss about old school tournaments was waiting around, right? So remember, you used to you'd weigh in at fucking 8:30 in the morning. You might not compete until 10 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah.
But what I missed when I went into MMA was the kind of easy nature of it, where you were doing 2 or 3 matches during the day, and you know there was no build up, no music, none of that. Yeah. I got that got very old very fast for me. You know, the idea of walkout music and crowds around you boozing, that got very old very quick for me. I think initially maybe my first couple of times doing that was like, oh brilliant, this is deadly, I'm in the ring and people are, you know. But then after a while it was, no, I quite like the other way around, you know.
That's why I'm a massive fan of IMAF, of the way it's done. And you go to an IMAF event, you know, you're the best competitors in the world. I'm telling you now, most of the top IMAF guys will beat 90% of the pros out there, because they're full-time athletes. Most of them are getting paid. They're high-level wrestlers, high-level judo guys, high-level boxers, all in the MMA game. They're unbelievable. But standard is very high. Yeah, but they're doing it like it's a sport. It's you know, it's a tournament. They're fighting every day over the week. They're watching the weight. They're cutting the weight. You know, there's no walkout music. You get called out, you go in, you fight. You know, there's 20 fights on after you. No one gives a fuck about you. You know what I mean? But it's really, really good. It's the sport end of it has really brought it back, and I think IMAF is unbelievable. Yeah, I love the whole event. I did the one. I was at the one. Of course, I helped with a few, but I was at the one in Las Vegas, and I said, "This is the way it has to be. This is super." Yeah, and it has grown leaps and bounds since then. Yeah. Like the idea of starting from like your Monday, like you're over there from Monday, starting from your first medical and your first weigh-in, and then fighting your way through, you know, round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinal, you know, and I just thought it was brilliant. It's just, it's the future. We're going to be left behind. We're going to be left behind because the countries now are taking it serious. So when we were over there in Bahrain for the last Worlds, the Kazakhstan president sent out the Kazakhstan team, 63 athletes, 3 weeks before to Bahrain to train and acclimatise. The full women's team, full men's team. The Bahraini team was out there. The Russian team was out there. They've doctors with them. They've physios with them. They've sports psychologists with them. It's a different game now. It's full-on professional, professional amateur sports.
Yeah, and I think as well, when you look at the teams that are doing well there, they are guys, teams and nations that probably don't excel like in the likes of athletics, say. So this is a great opportunity for them to be a number one at a sport, right? In the same way that the Cubans took boxing so seriously in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Like, this is a chance for them to have an elite level team and be at the top of the medal table.
Yeah, but what they're doing now, so like the Bahrain team, I think all the women were bleeding Brazilians and the men are Dagestanis and Russians, but they're all paid a good wage. I think they get 25 grand if they win a gold medal, and they live in a compound with a cinema and pictures and restaurants, and they've drivers and swimming pools that they're treated like stars, and they're in that good stable. You know what I mean?
So they're about as Bahraini as I am. Is that what you're saying? They're all Tony Cascarinos.
Yeah.
Geez, yeah, but it's another word or another level. Here, let's go back about 2004. Was it 2004? Here, look, I've got a photo of you. You showed me this in the other week, and I've forgotten about it. Hold on, where it's gone? You know what? I'm gonna get a producer or like someone to do this for me because I'm so bad at it, man. That's
oh yeah.
Oh Jesus, where is there a date up there? Let's have a look. Is that no?
That's a little bit later. That's about.
Oh no, that's Baldoyle, isn't it? That's about 2008, 2006.
Around that time, big Howard Mannion, and look the size of him.
There's Howard there.
In the white
Howard
t-shirt.
Yeah.
He's about 77 kilos now.
Good Lord, yeah. So I'm just looking through here. So there's one in this photo there. That's me. There you go. Look at that hair. Look at that. That was when I was still kidding myself back then. Maybe it'll grow back. That's what I'm thinking back there. Maybe it's just temporary. That's Peter. He's a black belt now as well. So there's one black belt, two. Howard black belt. Angus is now CC back in Australia. I think I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
That's I've forgotten this lad's name. Who's that? That's.
I can't really fucking see it. Can I make it bigger?
Okay, you can't see it. I can't make it.
Oh yeah, tell you what. That's my brother-in-law, Ralph. Yeah, I have a big.
That's Ralph, of course, Ralph. Yeah, there's another black belt there. You were probably purple belt at the time, were you?
Purple at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, purple at the time. TJ Davitt, black belt now under me. That's Connor. Is Connor still training? I don't know. Actually, I wonder. Connor, if you're out there, give us a show.
Yeah.
Mick, brown belt. Where he stopped at brown belt, did he?
Yeah.
Liam O'Toole, black belt now, and John is back with you now. You're telling me he's back training again.
Yeah, brown belt to be black belt soon. He starts training.
Soon, yeah. Geez, there you go. So in that photo, that's probably like you say. This I forgot to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 black belts. 7 black belts in there.
Yeah.
Man, so I like from such a small group, I suppose you'd say. From such a small, tight group, like you'd be lucky to see the same percentage of black belts out of a class of 30 now.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, I think back then we were all, if you were involved in jiu-jitsu back then, you were pretty dedicated, right? Because you had to go seek it out. Nobody knew what it was.
No, I know. It's mad, isn't it?
It's crazy.
And I think as well, now people don't appreciate it. And like the thing I laugh at, you would never see it in a judo club or a boxing club or even a taekwondo club. You would never get one or two, your yellow belt, your green belt, whatever, and open a fucking gym. It's mad. Where what people don't realise is that we opened gyms because we were black belts in other sports. We were sort of a lifetime in the martial arts. So it wasn't that we were only young lads and not, we were sort of, well, I was finished with a competitive career and it was more into teaching, you know what I mean? And that's what was happening. Where now fellas they get a fucking belt and they're opening the bleeding gym. Like, how are you meant to learn and enjoy the sport?
I can't understand it. That's what, I can't remember who I was talking to in the last. It's definitely on one of the videos in the back. I can't. If I could go back again, and if there was a black belt down the road for me, Jesus, I wouldn't even start my gym.
No.
I wouldn't. I'd love to be training there. I'd love to go on.
Yeah.
You know, it took me like 5 years to like get 2 years worth of what you get now. You know, it's insane to me. Why would you take any time out of your potential training now to coach other people when you're still learning yourself?
Go and enjoy it and learn it. You know what I mean? You have plenty of time to run a gym and have a gym. Like, plenty of time for that.
Yeah, like we did it out of necessity. Now people say, but you were like a white belt when you had your training group first, and you were a white belt when you were like teaching beginners. You're a blue belt. I was like, yeah, but there was no choice. You couldn't, but
yeah. But the thing I started to justify myself saying was I was a black belt at the time that my whole game was a lot of nay wasn't anyway. That's how John Kavanagh came to me originally, because I was sort of known in the judo world at the scene in Ireland for I would finish a lot of fights on the ground. I always armbarred the ground. I always look for choke. So a lot of the jiu-jitsu we were learning there was very similar to what we were doing anyway. You know, and then that's what I'm saying to you. When I look back at the video of 20 years ago doing grappling tournaments and doing judo, I said, Jesus Christ, that's not bad jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? I thought it was bad, but actually it was good guard and good sweeps and good guard passes and stuff, you know, the basics.
Yeah, well, when you meet a guy, when you meet a judo and was a guy, I mean, there's obviously like, right, my whole game is fighting on the ground, with like 10 to 15% of it stand up, right? But his whole game, when you meet a guy who's even like 50% they wasn't, like one of those guys who splits his time almost equally, like they're jiu-jitsu purple belt probably.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they have really good level. I suppose where judo guys really fall down, right, is that they don't have other good Newaza guys to fight against. And as a result, then, you know, they don't have the sharpness.
Yeah, and as well to them, as well, most of the judo guys, it's the last resort. You know what I mean? It's just you do want to throw, you get the fight finished. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your bread and butter is standing. Yeah, a bread and butter for a jiu-jitsu guy is.
I remember being in Paris in I think it was 2000, and Paris training camp, unbelievable. I never experienced something like it in my life. There's 800 guys on the mat, and they divide you into weights. So they go 60, 66, and 73, 81, 90, 100, that type of thing. Or to do 3 groups, and you do 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off for 2 hours. That's it. That's the training, because it's just all countries. And the 20-minute warm-up we done before that was groundwork. Now, was it? And I got this Italian guy, and he's a 100-kilo world silver medalist. And we're on the ground. Anyway, I fucking pinned him, and I choked him. And he had to tap, you know. And I said, lovely, you know, because he didn't realise it was sharp on the ground. Next of all, the randori starts, and I see this big Italian fucker. I don't know, he's probably about 110 kilos now, you know. And I'm 90, and he's looking for me, and I see him calling, Ireland. And I put my hand up. Now, he battered me up and down the mat. I just kept laughing. I just kept smiling at him. He fucking battered me. And at the end of it, I got a bit of respect of him. You know, he shook hands and it was grand. You know what I mean? The only fucker I ever had a hard time with, who battered me around the place, this French fella, where he was a world champion, but he was just a fucking pox. He was coaching, and he was killing me. I just kept laughing at him. I wouldn't let him know he was getting the better of me, but he was kicking me fucking ass. Now he was just a fucker. There was no. You were just a body to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You were just another victim.
Yeah. And an attitude, that fucking French pompous attitude he had, you know.
Right, yeah, that kind of stuck in it. I actually have a couple of questions. I asked for a few questions here from Instagram, and I got a few. Roger wants, this isn't a question. He just says, tell him it's like when George Michael left Wham. That's what it was like when you didn't run up for a black belt round table that day.
Tell that fucker why he said to come over. He wanted to do it at 6 o'clock in the morning. I told him I was busy. I said, I cannot do it before 11 o'clock, and he put it on before 11. The scumbag.
Yeah. Well, he made it difficult for you. He made life difficult for you. There's a question here about Neil Seary. So to give it, some people might not know who Neil is, but Neil, of course, fought in the UFC, Cage Warriors title holder, world title holder as well, and you were his coach for many years. And the question is actually, do you feel Seary would have had a title shot in the UFC if he'd maybe been 2 or 3 years younger, or joined 2 or 3, gone into maybe the UFC 2 or 3 years before?
I always said to Neil, never even mind the years younger. If Neil could have afforded to take a year off work, I said it to him, he would have a title shot. Neil, look at him, I heard YouTube to fight with that. They came to Neil after the fight and said, Neil, what you made out? We after round 1, we were worried. We thought you were going to come and get us. Everything we tried wouldn't work against you. Neil was working full time. with bleeding 4 kids at home. He's 5 kids now, 4 kids at home at the time. You know, trying to train at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning sometimes, doing a full day's work, then coming to train with me. So his recovery and his downtime, he hadn't got any. So he was constantly, I found he was burned out. Neil's last 3 fights in the UFC, he was burned out. He wasn't the fella. He great heart. You know, even his last fight where he won the 4th round, lost the second. No, lost the 4th, won the second round, and he got caught in the choke in the tournament. He just burned out. Now, if he had been off work, if he had to have a little sponsor, someone come in to look after him, he had a big mortgage to pay and stuff, he definitely could have been up there for a title shot, 100%.
Yeah, he held his own with some big names. Even when he wasn't winning, he wasn't getting destroyed. Like he was a competitive guy, no matter who he's in against, didn't he?
No, like Harry Hughes came to us after that, and the coach, the American top team said, "Fuck me, we thought you were going to get us in the 3rd round. We thought we were going to finish it. We threw everything at you, Neil, and we couldn't finish it. You just kept coming and coming and coming." I know if Neil had to have even 6 months off before that fight, just to train and recover. A lot of people don't realise recovery is a very important thing. Very important thing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody can train the same way, right? Because everybody's got those 90-minute windows, but it's how you sleep in between.
Yeah. You're going and doing early shifts. He was starting work at 6 till 3 or something like that. Then coming and training at 3 o'clock with us. Then going home and doing the dinners for the kids. Then getting back to the gym that evening. He was trying to do 3 sessions, work full time and mind kids, because his wife worked as well. So he couldn't do it, and it showed in the last round of all these fights. He died of death. And they would go on for days. That was the thing when he got the Cage Warriors fight. We knew we were offered him to fight in the 8-man tournament, and I said no, because Neil was getting a bit older. And I said no, we'll tell you what to do. I said, do us a favour, whoever wins the title, let us do the first defense of it. And then the 8-man fell apart, and there was Salander was left and Neil, and I said, yeah, no problem, we'll do a title fight, but it's got to be a 5-rounder. And because I know Neil goes for days. First 3 rounds, you might get the better of him. And he pulls it out and wins it in the 4th round. You know what I mean? And as well, if he had to get in the show maybe a year earlier, he could have maybe gotten a couple of more UFC fights in. But he's done well.
Yeah. He did a really good career. Like, and I always, it was always me, like, when I was coaching MMA, so I haven't coached him a year, maybe more. And lads come up to me and be going like, what about doing a pro? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I was saying, look, one of Ireland's probably like, aside from Conor, I think you can probably call Neil Ireland's most successful after that. Like, in terms of longevity and all. I call Pendra possibly as well. But like, the conversation is big, and I suppose, of course, Norman Parker has had a good career outside the UFC since he's been here. But
Norman is still active and still training and still competing. So
yeah, and still doing well with KSW. Like, but I guess I say to them all the time, it's kind of let's look. One of Ireland's most successful fighters didn't quit his job, and he kept working, and he had a family, and he. I suppose there's the tendency that just because you quit your job and just because you're going to train full time, that you're going to have some sort of automatic leg up on other guys.
I think you have to have a fallback. So I know that you ever watch. I try and watch it. As a coach, I always try and learn stuff and watch stuff. And brutal reading. I have a load of books here about coaching and athletic bleeding, nutrition, and all this stuff. And I find it hard to read them. I'm not great at reading. So I try and watch documentaries or sport stuff on athletes and coaches. And if you watch all the athletics, they're really good athlete people. They go to college in America. The sprinters and the runners and the swimmers, because they're getting a college degree and they're training hard, and the top judo guys in the UK do the same. They all go to Bath University to train, and I'd say it's the same all over the world. So MMA, you need to have something to fall back on. So Redder's a good example. Redder's a qualified plumber, so Redder can take a year off and train, and then go back and compete or go back on the building sites and stuff because he has that qualification. So you need some sort of qualification, or if you're young enough and have a good education, and you're financially able, you live in a home, then you can take them little chances. But if you're looking to buy a house or you have a car and stuff, you can't, because MMA money's not good for the first 5 or 6, 7, even 10 years until you make that 1 or 2 big shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even though I think a lot of people are surprised when they find out, certainly in the early UFCs, a very high percentage of those guys were all educated to degree level. So even like, this is the example I always use, Tank Abbott, some of you might remember, He had a degree in economics, I think, or in business.
Yeah.
And the reason was is they all went to college as wrestlers. A lot of them, anyway, went to college as wrestlers, got their education, and then turned their eyes to professional fighting. Now, you probably can still do that, but a lot of guys, of course, are training since they're 14, 15, 16 now, and they're straight into pro fighting at 18, 19, you know, certainly in the US.
Well, that's what the wrestlers. The wrestlers all go to college, don't they?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's an education. It's tied to your athletic career is tied to your education, and you use athletics to get ahead in life. So you use your athletic ability to get yourself into college, to get your scholarship, and you know, even Irish soccer players are doing that with the US education now, right? They use the US education system for that too. So it's a different world, right?
It is. It is. You have to have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, it's like so it's a frustration, isn't it, when you're coach? You coach MMA guys, obviously now, and I don't. But like, there is a sense of frustration, all right, where it's kind of like lads maybe think that they're going to be earning. You know, they think they're going to be earning in a couple of years, and you want to say to them, look, mate, you might never earn. You know, you might never get the price of an Opel Corsa, never mind a Ferrari.
Now,
so
I just sit them down and say, okay, you're going professional. What are you going to do different? What's going to change now? And they're looking at me sort of saying, well, I'm going to give up my job. Yeah, but what are you going to do then? You're going to be here in the mornings, and where you going to gym in the evenings, and you've got a program worked out. You just look at you, you know, because most fellas, they just go from amateur reels to pro reels, but the training never changes. And, you know, the training doesn't, and the training has to change at that level.
Yeah, you're going to struggle if it doesn't, right?
Yeah, look, you have to be. Like, I guys, amateurs are training like pros now. You know what I mean? Sure, I had it with Reds Rob his last fight. He had a great first round in Bellator, and he died of death and got caught, and he got beaten in the second round. And I look at him, and I showed you the photograph of his condition, and we've had this chat. Reds went from training, you know, 6 days a week, strength and conditioning, road work, pads, nutrition, you know, on the mat, boxing sessions, grappling sessions, all that, to working on the building site, trying to do all that, and DJing the weekends, and it doesn't work at that level. You know, that level.
When you're trying to win a big fight at KSW, when you're trying to, when you're at a big show. Sorry, Bellator at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah. All them lads at a high level of full time, you know, are sort of have to be semi full time even. You have to be at you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Let's go back a bit, right? To we're saying MMA, but shooting to Battle Zone. So when did you promote your first Battle Zone?
2010. We had a Battle Zone in Trinity, I think, and we had a great show. I think, we had. Yeah,
I'm remembering now. Yeah. Because what I was thinking was that it was the D4 hotel, which is it still called the D4? What's it called now? Is it back to being Jury?
It's called now. No, we got fancy, moved up to the D4. You know.
That was Nama. Thanks to Nama.
With a few good shows and that. I think we like that little small hall in Donna made. Neil Seary fought. He fought the guy out your place. Do you remember the guy with the barber?
Yusuf. Yeah, Joe.
That was probably one of the best MMA fights in Ireland I've ever seen, and nobody knows about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was a killer.
Crazy.
I'm not too sure if that was on Battle Zone or that was on Cage of Truth. I'm not too sure about that.
I think that was Cage of Truth, and I think Gunnar Nelson fought that night as well.
And Conor McGregor fought as well, didn't he? And Ash Daly. Did Conor fight? What's his name now? Cowsers. Gary Morris.
He could have done. Actually that night. And Ash Daly definitely fought, I think, definitely. I know. Sorry, the series, Siri and Yusuf was like, it was insane. Yusuf was he was a lovely guy. He was a hairdresser, right? Yeah. So that was his job, right? And the dates. He used to come up. The first night he came up to me, so he looked. He had a crazy background. He was. Now I'm going to try and make sure. He was half Polish, a quarter Thai, and a quarter Somali, right? So
no way.
Yeah, that's why he was insane. Looking like he had like a crazy look about him, and nicest fella, like a really beautiful personality, really really nice fella, easy to get along with. And the first night I sparred him, I was like, this guy's good. He saw me Thai box a little bit, and he didn't put shin pads on. And I went, do you want to put shin pads on? He goes, and he looks at me and he goes, no, you'll be fine. And I wasn't like, I'll be fine. He said, you'll be fine. I was like, yeah, all right. And sure enough, he opened me up, I'd say, in about 30 seconds and touched my face with his shin. and you just let it down again. I went, this is what he means by you'll be fine. He's sparring like he's not. This guy's good enough that he doesn't have to hurt me. Like he doesn't have to hit me.
Yeah.
And then that was, I'd say, the first night I'd seen him cut loose, like ever. Like so he sparred away and he was super light and sparring all the time, that kind of Thai style, you know. And I think he cut Neil in the first round.
Yeah.
Head kick. And then Neil took over in the second, then got him on the mat, and it was brutal. It was brilliant fight. It was even enjoyable to corner, even though we were losing. We lost. It was actually enjoyable.
Yeah, but it was a tight fight, wasn't it? It was a good fight.
It was really close, and eventually, I think it was ground and pound in the end because Hughes just gassed out. He just lost. He lost his cardio. I'd say was the second or third. I can't remember. But it was brilliant.
Round, I think, third round.
It was brilliant. It was all action.
Yeah.
It was a war. It was savage.
I think Air Force Battle Zone was 2010, the time of the snow. It was November. Cage Warriors were in Cork the day before because we were using the same cage. Remember the guy from Strabane used to rent the cage? What was his name again?
Connor Cassidy.
Connor Cassidy.
Yes.
So he was coming with the cage on the Saturday for us. Friday, Cage Warriors in Cork. The first time to come back to Ireland. That's where Joe Duffy and Conor McGregor
fought. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, so that was that. We had the Battle Zone on. We had a bleeding great card that night. We had a few kickboxing fights on. We had some great fights on that card that night. And the hall was freezing. The car park was ice. We flew in a French team, 3 or 4 French fighters to fight.
That was the night Gunnar Nelson fought. That wasn't the Cage of Truth. So the French guy, Gunnar Nelson fought a French lad that night. And finished him, I think, in the first ground and pound, mountain ground and pound.
Oh.
I remember that would have because brought in a bunch of French, and I think that was the night Ash Daly fought as well. So that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. That was to be in the Battle Zone at that stage. Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I'll have to look up that. The same venue. I'll have to check that out. But
out there now. You keep talking there, and I'll look that up because that was an unbelievable night. If I'm remembering the same thing, keep going there. Go on.
John Donnelly fought that night. Did John Donnelly fight that night? I'm sure we did. We brought a guy in from the UK to fight. That could have been the second Battle Zone. Whoever it was, only the night of the snow. It was a great show. We had a great bit of crack. I think there were 600 people in the hall that night. We couldn't believe it. They all still got there in the snow. We couldn't get into the car park.
That's right. Yeah. I remember the big snow was where. Yeah. I remember that already. Man, it was unbelievable. It was like but back then, like not every show. Of course, every show wasn't magic, but. Like looking back at some of the fighters that we had back then, there was always like almost every night there was some lad who like went on to go to the UFC, whether it was Conor, like not necessarily Conor, whether it was like, you know, someone like Carl Pendred or Ash Daly or anybody like that, you know, Paddy Hoolan. You always had someone, didn't you, like that?
It's even them Rumble and Rushes used to be great shows, and the boxing ring and Use My Cage. Well, that was a great little show out there in Rush. John Donnelly fought a guy in America, just fought in Strike Force. It was a great fight. Probably John Donnelly's best fight ever.
Yes, I remember that one too. Battle Zone 1, I'm telling you. November 28, 2010. No, I beg your pardon. You must be thinking of something like that. You ready for this now? Yeah. Oisin Coburn versus Sean Knox, Michael Curran, Graham Dinn, Blaine O'Driscoll, fighting, of course, in Bellator now, isn't he? Sean Keoghan, who I think might be his teammate now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Alex Richter and Huey O'Rourke.
Yeah, Huey's still coaching.
Yeah, Anthony Carrick, Andres Sokoluskas. I'll scroll down a little bit here now. John McElhenney against Peter Doyle. Peter black belt now, of course.
Yeah.
Kieran Kearney against Philip Marr. Paul Cherubini, Dara Hart, Kieran Lee, Henry Felipe, Dominic Oriskiak, and Chris Clark against John Donnelly.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
There you go. So that was the first one. So maybe it's Battle Zone 2, was it that it flew? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm not going to go through it too much. We won't go through it too much.
We had French fights. That must be the second one. Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable, though. It's mad, isn't it, to think back like to those days that you had, like, I'd say you would struggle to put, what was it, about 600 people in there? You would struggle to put 300 people into a local show now, wouldn't you?
I know. And then what we did as well,
get bums off seats.
We tried to dip a little bit. What we did then as well when we went to the Regency then, and we did the D4 was great. The D4 was really great. We took that step up, and in the D4 we started doing the press conference with the belts on the table and the whole chat, like the pride type of thing, and that went down well. And we brought over Well TV, And the WOW TV clips you see are up from the shows. And WOW TV interviewed the fighters, and we got them in to talk to guys. They did the back behind the scenes. So it was really, really good what we did. We actually should go back to doing that. And put some good fights on. And then what we started doing was trying to make it interesting. We did the Four Nations. We did Ulster, Munster, Connacht, and Leinster. We're doing that as well. We got that DACO at the time. We're trying to do a cloud race. They sponsored it. And they sponsored all the kits for the nations. I think Ulster won it in the end. I'm not too sure. And then we did Ireland versus USA, Ireland versus England. They were two good shows.
They were, tremendous. Yeah, I remember them well. And like two of the best fights I think I've ever seen in Ireland were both Philip Peter fights. One was against John Donnelly, the other one's against Richard Gorey.
Yeah, Richard
Gorey came up there. Yeah, they were cracking fights, brilliant fights, brilliant. Yeah. Back in the day, though, man, we're talking a long time ago now, aren't we? 2010, 2010. So you're talking a decade ago. I was only thinking about this because I was in Farm Performance time, was the gym I was in, and I found a T-shirt. I showed it on the web yesterday. Actually, I found a T-shirt that we had. I found it I was painting with my daughter there, doing arts and crafts with my daughter there, and we had a lot of old T-shirts. I just used to shove on her, or on all the kids, as aprons. And I found this one anyway, an old and Farm Performance T-shirt from 10 years ago, a decade ago, like. And I thought to myself, that doesn't seem like 10 years. It doesn't seem like a decade ago.
Mad, isn't it?
No. And if you just think about the water under the bridge since, I suppose, just all the little things, like from how jiu-jitsu's grown, how MMA has grown, but almost. I mean,
do you remember the Bushido show?
Yes.
That fucked up MMA a little bit here, and it wasn't that the show setup was great, but the whole night was fucking muck. There was no organisation in the back. No one knew what happened. I'd actually, and a lot of people don't know, like, I'd actually pulled out that fight. I was actually not training. I was sick as a dog with the flu. And the fella running the show rang me that week. He said, look, Andy, said, we're down to 6 fights. Will you do us a favour? Will you please fight? I said, right. So I said to himself, well, 1 round in me. That's all, I managed 1 round. But we went out there. There was no headshots in the ground. But we are told we can elbow and knee standing. But we're going out to fight, and I was told I can't elbow or knee. And I said, why? You've no pads on you, knee pads or elbow pads. He never gave them. He only had 1 set. The other guy got them. So I wasn't allowed to elbow. So that rules for Ireland. I think Mick Leonard had a great fight and had a great win.
Yeah,
the rest of the fight, great. And the main Rodney
John Donnelly fought Gegard Mousasi, right, that night.
Yeah, and you know what he done? Told him on the way out who he was and how many fights he had. The whole thing wasn't run properly. One of the best shows ever. Do you remember the Cage Rage show, the one we had in the Tree Arena?
Brilliant, great night. Yeah,
that was one of the best nights. The knockouts that night were unbelievable. The show was unbelievable. That was 2005, I think.
Yeah, and I remember after.
No, it wasn't.
That wasn't that late.
2007 because he used my cage. 7 or 8 was.
That late. And when was Bushido? Bushido was around 05, right? 04.
2005 Bushido was.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, who's watching, right? So Bushido was probably the first ever big arena. Well, it was the first ever big arena show in Ireland. Yeah. So it was in the old Point Depot, which is the Tree Arena now. It was a massive Ireland versus the rest of the world style card. Originally it was supposed to be Ireland against the UK, right? But then after, there's a lot of so obviously a lot of fighters pulled and it became Ireland kind of against the rest of the world. There was a guy headlining it. So in a crazy bit of MMA history, a guy headlining it who had never fought MMA before, who ended up getting shot probably a year later, fairly famously, like in a famous sort of gangland shooting. Yeah. And the rules were changed. Was it on the day or just before? So there was originally supposed to be full MMA, and then apparently the story goes, I think that maybe you can correct me on this, that the Point Depot get an idea suddenly of this is not a martial arts show, this is an MMA show, and someone sees a video and goes, well, you can't have that. So the rules are changed to no headshots in the ground. Is that right? Yeah,
you started, but Bushido have rules. You have 2 different type of rules as well. Where the Bushido something I don't know, and there's no headshots, and another one there is headshots, but they're still pro fights, which is ridiculous. That's why and you had to have certain gear on, and there were 2 rounds, and they went 3 rounds, and it was madness. It was all over the place. It was
but it was a full house. It was a full house. Remember, it was jammers. I couldn't believe it.
They had a whole Japanese drumming big thing at the start. It was very good, But the show wasn't great. You know, it did fall apart. But we got better after that. The cage rage was really, really good. And what cage rage fucked up on was them and MCD were running it, that one. And the second one, they put it in the boxing arena, and they got a bit greedy on the price of tickets. And not many people came to it then. That's the one.
Yeah.
We had BJ Penn there as guest, and that other big English fellow. What's the big English fellow that fought in Pride? Big, huge fucker.
Oh, yeah, the guy, he's nearly 7 foot tall. It's gonna with James. Okay, right. I'm gonna go. You keep talking. I'm gonna go to Google for that.
It's not the man James Sweeney. It's the other guy before.
No, not him. No. UK Pride Fighter. That's how I'm gonna put in.
He fought big around the time. He's on all the big fights.
James Thompson. James Thompson.
He was there.
Yes.
He was a guest and stuff. So we had a great vibe then for the second one. And there's some great fights in the second. I think the second show was Ireland versus Poland or something, or Ireland versus somebody.
I can't recall now. No, I can't remember.
Ireland versus Sweden, something like that it was. Anyway, with a great bleeding show that night. Dave Kelly was on. There was a good few good lads on that show that night. I must look up the card of that one. But it was good.
Dave, Andy, I think I was due to fight on that.
Were you?
And yeah, and I did. I had an ankle injury around that time that kept cropping up, and I think I did my ankle training.
Yeah,
it was an ankle. It was either my ankle or my knee around time because I had 2 problems around then. But I remember I was due. You had me. I don't think I was named on the card, but I think I was training with you at the time.
Yeah.
And you were saying like, "Will you fight in cage?" At that time I was going, "What?"
Yeah, we had a few lads in the card that night. Yeah, we had a few lads.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were some. Yeah, they were great. They were great. I think almost like. Sometimes I think, especially when I look back like at those nights, when I think about like maybe not the Bushido card, but like the cage race cards, the cage warriors nights definitely that were in the helix, and you think, geez, we've gone a long way backwards since, you know. It's a shame. It's a shame a little bit, you know.
I know.
Were they cage race contenders? Contenders. That's what it was, wasn't it? Cage race contenders. Hold on, I'm gonna find the people fighting on that. Ireland versus Belgium.
Belgium. That's what it was.
That's who it was. Yes. Yeah, Wim Deppeter. Oh yeah, he's fought a good bit since Tom McGuire, Bastien Houveniers against Dave Kelly, Emmett McNally. Remember Emmett? I saw a video of Emmett there. Man, a big knockout artist. Ludovic Boulin, Ashley Daly on that. Yeah, Colin Laird, Steve McComb against Paul Kelser, Conor McGregor and Mo Taylor, Peter Wilson and Gary Morris. Yeah, so savage right there. Yeah, oh yeah,
good.
Yeah, some good stuff there. All right. Man, yeah, that's crazy nights, crazy times. I was saying to somebody the other day, I have great memories of them, but I'm also kind of glad they're memories because it wasn't all plain sailing either. Like we're looking back at rose-tinted spectacles, but like, you know, you didn't always have the quality of training partners. Maybe the organisation wasn't the same around your club.
You don't think it was a bit more friendlier?
There was an element to that, yeah. I mean, I did. You knew everybody. That was the great thing about it. I think. Like it was a little less. I don't want to try and say that there was a little less drama. I think that's what it was, and maybe it's just a consequence of being bigger now that it is a bit more inclined that way. Maybe I'm looking back, like maybe we're looking back at rose-tinted spectacles now, but like, yeah, I think there was a bit less drama, and I think that's what definitely appealed to me. And what appealed to me around the time as well was we were talking about the benefit, I suppose, of the more traditional martial arts. But I felt a bit trapped by the traditional martial arts back then, and MMA and Jiu Jitsu seemed more free and seemed more like informal, and that kind of appealed to me back then.
Yeah, it did, yeah. But you still need that bit of traditional, you know, the bit of respect on the mat and stuff, and you know what I mean. But it's the real life. That's what I like about it. It's live. It's real.
Yeah, and that was definitely what appealed to me about it at the time. Because taekwondo, like we sparred a lot and we trained a lot, but it was very, very rigid. A lot of forms, a lot of patterns, a lot of the kind of set moves and all that kind of stuff. And coming into, and I think do you know what kind of was the best feeling about it back then was for me. You kind of felt you were part of the movement. Yeah. It was the closest thing I think you and I maybe will get to to kind of the hippie movement or something like that in the 60s and 70s.
Traditional martial arts didn't want us doing it. Still don't want us doing it.
And there was again, it's hard for people to fathom because the argument is over, right? The argument between Tom King was talking about this in the last one that we did. The argument about what's better and what's more effective in a fight, it's over because of the UFC and because of MMA. We don't argue about that anymore. But that argument was still very live. You still had kind of fat Kempo black belts coming up to you going, yeah, well, would it work in the street and all that kind of stuff, And, that we were at the front of that at the time, and that was kind of exciting. That was exciting about that.
Yeah,
enjoyable though. They were fun days, but I'm glad. Like I say, I'm glad they're memories, but still good memories.
How do you find it now not doing the MMA? Do you find it easier as a business and as an instructor to just do the one sort of discipline?
I am enjoying my coaching the last year more than I ever have. Partly because I suppose I'm reconciled to the fact that I love training and coaching jiu-jitsu far more than I actually love training and coaching MMA.
Yeah.
But also the element of that, we were talking about the drama, that's all gone for me now. I don't have to deal with any of that. So that's a lot more fun. I'm enjoying that, like, and as you know, there's a shit ton of drama in jiu-jitsu as well. But it's definitely it's reduced 50% of it anyway.
Yeah. I think the reason I like jiu-jitsu as well is that we don't have a governing body here, so you go by your team you're affiliated with, like, worldwide, like, so there's no one telling you can't do this and do that. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more you're your own boss, with a certain guideline. You're with a reputable black belt and association and team, so you're doing everything right. You know what I mean? But you don't have some fucker sitting in an office telling you, oh, well, you didn't pay your €100 for that fucking tip on your belt, and we want, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it helps that I know, love or hate the IBJJF, they've kind of earned out the rules for us. So it helps that that's not going on anymore. Yeah. I know it's still going on with the sub-only stuff and all that, but it helps to have a rigid something to go by, but equally not so rigid as you're not in control of your own training and you're not in control.
Yeah, I don't mind the IBJJF, but it's great having this stuff. I like the IBJJF stuff because I was trying to explain to fella, someone we said before, it should be submission only. I said, but it wouldn't be fucking tournaments then. I said, 3,000 fellas go to compete in the tournament for over a week and a submission only. You'll be there for fucking 6 months.
Yeah. And you'll always have submission only anyway. Yeah. Like everybody will, every now and again, someone will run an event that will be submission only. And even submission only isn't submission only. So EBI rules, people go, well, it's submission only. It's not. I told one of my lads, this sounds like it's not cheating, but I just gamed the system. One of my lads was going out into an EBI rules tournament there when Bushy McCabe was having them, and he was like, "Man, I just don't know what to do. Like, I'm terrible at submitting, and like,
don't do anything for overtime."
That's exactly what I said. Hang out till overtime. Just stall till overtime. If you're free, and then you've got literally a 50 chance. So we just, because he was a novice, we just studied the spider web and the back control position, and he won. He would have got medal.
Yeah, you know why sub only became popular in Ireland, don't you? You know why? Because people fucking didn't have the referee. So someone, that's it. No, that's the truth of it. So if someone's putting on a grappling tournament, the easiest thing to do is, okay, I get 10 of my students or 10 fellas in my gym, you're going to referee, there's no fucking score. All you got to do is watch the time and look for the submission. You don't have to know anything. You do not have to know anything. And that's why a lot of people run sub only, because they do not know the rules, or they haven't got the judges, or they haven't got the referees, and they won't pay them by the table staff. That's what it is.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's true. That's the sad truth. Yeah, the sad truth. Because at the end of the day, if you can get someone just to hold a stopwatch and blow a whistle or whatever it is they have to do for training, it's very easy than training. Believe me.
Yeah, sub only, you need no table staff, right? Because one man will stop watching the referee, because I'm not counting score. I'll do the time and a referee the fight, because all you're just doing is watching for something illegal. That's it. Or someone for the tap. That's it.
Yeah. But like I do, like, they appeal to me some ways, and they certainly.
I like them as well for certain type of tournaments. Yeah, of course. It's great having. That's what I'm saying with jiu-jitsu. It's great having that. You could do no gi today, ADC tomorrow, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu next week. IBJJF. It chops it where we're not told by a governing body here. Oh, you cannot do any of them. You only can do. You know, IBGF, that's it. That's what I look at.
Yeah, and I think the best thing about that as well is even if, let's say, there was a governing, like there isn't going to be like a governing body, a worldwide governing body who's going to tell you not to compete in one thing or the other. I don't think that's ever going to happen in jiu-jitsu, but the culture's already built in that in winter you compete in the gi, and in summer you get, and like, you know, you do no gi, whatever. But there's also the ADCC. ADCC is already like a huge part of the global calendar, you know, as a kind of a no-gi world championships.
And then you have all the Abu Dhabi Pro stuff and everything now, so.
Yeah. So look, there's loads of opportunities to compete. That's what I was going to say to you, actually. That's one of the other bits and pieces I wanted to talk to you about was, like, you probably had more judo matches and more judo tournaments under your belt by the time you were, say, 25, 26 than most jiu-jitsu guys would have now, right? Because they don't compete as often, and they make maybe. I try to explain this to my guys all the time, about, like, when I was competing taekwondo, that it was different when I was competing jiu-jitsu, right? Because when I was competing jiu-jitsu, there was no tournaments, but I went to every one I could. But when I was competing taekwondo, there was an opportunity to compete. Whether you competed, we would compete like in our own tournaments, our own organization tournaments, other people's tournaments. We would compete in kickboxing tournaments as well, and we compete whenever we could, basically, whether it was points kickboxing, full contact kickboxing, there's continuous kickboxing, there was all sorts. So I used to just, once every 2 weeks, I'd say, I was competing when I was active competitive.
Yeah, for me,
probably the same with judo, right?
For me, say judo, for me, judo, say my competitive time when I was competing, say Ireland without international, I'd say, okay, the main tournaments I would have done in Ireland every year would have been the All-Irelands, the Irish Open, the Leinsters, there's 3, the Northern Open, the Northwest was a big one up the north, that was a big one, and then the Galway Open was a great competition coming near springtime, around that time, and it couldn't even been East, I'm not too sure, but it was that time of the year, but it was very much where clubs would travel over, you'd have a weekend in Galway, so I had probably 6 or 7 big tournaments in Ireland, and then I would have the British Open in England, the Scottish Open, the Welsh Open, maybe the Kent, the Heart of England in Kent, you know, at Ipswich, other. So yeah, I probably have. I think one time I had 4 competitions in a row, 4 weekends in a row, and then it was like probably every month you were 1 or 2. Yeah, you would be, because for the competitive season, you know what I mean. You were busy.
Mm.
Yeah, for me, it was sort of September to May, and then June, July, August, you sort of were training camp or holiday, and then September started again. You went right through the winter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a proper season.
Yeah,
a proper competitive season like that all other athletes are used to. Yeah. And we don't. Because I try to say to people, you know, stop making such a big deal about competing. Don't make it a big deal. There's a couple of tournaments that should grab your interest and make you want to like really win. Look, obviously you want to really win every match you go into, but like save your nerves, and essentially save your nerves in your big training camp for when it really matters.
Yeah.
Or like when you're going to the Euros, when you're going to a World Championship, if you're lucky enough to go there, you know. Yeah. And like that's the big difference for me between, you know, kind of what not difference necessarily, but I think it's just something that isn't in the culture yet, like in jiu-jitsu in Ireland. Yeah.
No, I think some of the other gyms that maybe are more competitive, the East Coast lads, some of them tourist gyms, and maybe some of the lads at Sligo that go to all them the jiu-jitsu sort of scene, you know, around Europe might have that, but it's only a very handful of guys, you know what I mean? That's the only thing I was only talking to someone today about. Me as a competitor, even though we're sort of 47 now in a couple of months, and it's like, oh, you're a coach and all, and I still like to compete, but I haven't competed. And I'm looking back, my last time I felt good competing was 2011, or felt good on the mat was 2011. It's a long time ago. And I won the Pan Ams that year. I know I took a bronze medal in the Worlds in 14, but I had no interest in it. Didn't even want to be there. Didn't even train. Didn't want to be on the mat. And I was sort of going through it. I found I have no time for jiu-jitsu or even the MMA. You know, that sort of lost the buzz. I felt burnt out. And I'm always in the gym, right? Lifting weights. I'm always in the gym, jumping on, rolling. Haven't been rolling probably the last couple of years, and my weight's been up and down, and on my stomach, I put my weight in my stomach. So I went and got my bloods done a while ago, and I got called in there for the results a couple of weeks ago. And the doctor told me of genetic, inherited diabetes too. And he said to me, you're suffering with it all your life, not just now. He asked me questions about, and I said to him, you know what? I said, I remember 25 years ago, not being able to see for 40 minutes after a training session. I'm just thinking I was cutting weight, you know, and getting weak spells and dizzy spells. And over the last 20 years, just thinking, oh, you're cutting weight. It's, you know what I mean? Or it's something we're doing. And no motivation to get on the mat and stuff. And my testosterone levels were fucking right down low, in a really bad low. So he said to me, doesn't matter what you've done, because I'm running the last year every day and weight wouldn't shift. Doesn't matter what you've done, he said. Your pancreas isn't working. You know, you're not for it. This is all stuff we can fix. But you've been like that the last good few years. And then I'm thinking back, yeah, I got fucking no motivation. Use a ring to come training in the course. I can't get myself over there. You know, that whole burnt out. He said, I don't know how you were lifting weights. I said, I showed him a video, I'm squatting 250 kilos. I said, how are you doing it? He said, your testosterone levels should be at 20 for your age. You're down at 3.5. He said, your fucking your sugar levels, your kidneys, everything, your liver, everything's all over the place. And the only good thing was I got all the tests done. He said, your no cancers, no arthritis, your B12 is great, your iron is great. I can see you live a healthy lifestyle, but you're carrying weight in your stomach. You have big shoulders, big arms, big legs. Because I remember Roger saying to me, I said, Roger, fucking keep it away. Yeah, you're a big man. Yeah, but I kept putting the weight on my stomach. And that's to do with that diabetes too. Your insulin levels all over the place. And it didn't matter what you were doing, what training you were doing. So even that time, I was in Vegas with Syria, done the 10 weeks, no sugar. You had a picture of a skinny Andy. You're slagging me, and a picture of a very tall looking. I still had a bit of a belly on me. And I'm looking back saying, I've been like that all my life. Even though I've been lean certain parts of my body and running and training. So it was a good thing for me. So I rang Roger today. I said, Roger, I'm on the medication now. Come Christmas, you're fucking dead.
You'll be down at Thursday morning session now, battering us. Yeah, so
but mad, isn't it?
Was it a shock? Did you think something was wrong? So you obviously went for tests because you thought something was wrong, right? But
yeah, because I've always been very, you know yourself, you saying that, I've always been very competitive on the mat. I always do. And I'm always in the gym lifting weights. And I'm always doing stuff. And yet, one day I could wake up and my cheeks could be bloated out. Next day I wake up, I could be 3 kilos lighter. You know, up and down. Mad. I don't drink. Don't smoke. Very rarely have a takeaway. Only my downfall would be ice pops or the stuff in the house I'd eat fucking at once ago. But I wouldn't be a big eater. I wouldn't be eating big dinners or anything, you know. And it was only that Kevin Hendricks said to me, well, he said, you're training like fuck. He said, you're in the film sessions with me here, lifting weights, doing these tablet sessions, you're running, you're still carrying weight. Something fucking up there. You know? So yeah, I'm glad I got it cleared up.
Yeah, Jesus. Were you shocked?
I was, and then I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, did I do that damage as well when I was younger? Then he said, no. He said, that's you inherited this. He said, it's genetic. He said, so I had to go and find out, and then my grandfather had it and stuff, you know what I mean? So it was there in the background.
Yeah.
At least I can reverse it now, I think. So
I think it's the I don't know too much about it. I didn't have family members with it, but I think if it's genetic, I think it's a little easier to manage, right? It's the one that you develop that's pretty yeah, because
for me, like, it's just, so I'm a week now on this keto diet. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking hard now because I'm doing it like a competitor. I'm not cheating. I'm being 100. Now, I'll tell you what the hard part of it is: the amount of food I'm fucking eating.
Oh yeah, colossal quantities, right? Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, I did it for like about a month. I really disliked it on the basis that I was just. Yeah, well, for a start, there's the lack of sugar as well, which is really horrible. Right? Yeah. Right. But the quantity of food that I was eating was colossal. It was hard to eat, like it was hard to have a meal.
Yeah, so say for me, I got in a bad habit there because I lost that drive or something like that. So I was getting up in the morning and I was having a double espresso. I was going down to the park and I was doing 4K in the park. Then I was going in, having a coffee and a scone. I was coming home then, wasn't eating. And then about 3 o'clock I might have something light. And then I go to the gym that evening. And I'd come back that night and have me dinner and I'd be picking up bullshit. Like, I wasn't eating. And the fella said, you're not fucking eating. You haven't eaten. Like, I think I was, he done out my calories, say I was meant to be eating 2,500 calories. I was only eating like 600 a day. and then I was drinking coffees and bad stuff, but I wasn't getting the protein and the other stuff into me. You know what I mean?
Jesus, and still not the weight's still not coming off, even despite all that, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. So it's medication for you now, is it? And is it?
Yeah,
is
just
it
get it checked, and then once I get myself to a certain level, then I'll just be strict with my food Monday to Friday, sort of the weekend, then have something. You know what I mean? Because like say this week I've been every evening I'm running, and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday I'm doing like a tab of 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off thing, but I've no carbs, and it's fucking hard. So I think when I get myself back to a certain level, I will have that bowl of porridge in the morning, or I will have that bit of bread early in the day that you're working it off, and once you keep your levels under wraps. And the thing for me is, I love fruit. Can't even fucking eat much fruit because of the sugars.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the body doesn't care where it's getting the sugars from, whether it's from fruit or from a Mars bar. It's gonna.
Yeah, and I'm not too educated in it. I'm only a week in, you know what I mean? So let's see what happens.
Yeah. It's a huge lifestyle change, though, from the sounds of things. It's going to be like a bit of a switch over. But are you glad you know anyway?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Because I was wondering why I just couldn't get myself motivated the last couple of years. Couldn't. I get on the mat and train, have a great Monday, and I wouldn't want to train for the rest of the week. Like, that's fucking not like me. You know what I mean? All my life I'm martial arts. Then I'm thinking maybe because I'm too busy, but it wasn't. I hadn't got the fucking testosterone levels were fucking nearly at breaking point, you know what I mean? So I shouldn't have been I wasn't recovering, and the body wasn't fucking forward the way it should have been. You done all me levels of what you should be forwarding on for, say, a guy at 46 years of age. This is 100% where I should be, and my body's forwarding on 17.5% of all me levels what it should be at.
Jesus.
Yeah, and what he said was, the reason you're doing it is because you have a competitive mind, you're a competitive athlete. You know, he said you're pushing yourself to do these things. But
you're almost mind over matter, right? At that stage, you were just rather than you were letting the mental side of it kind of take over the body to push you past the physical end of it. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, like that day I went over the road with you that day, I was fucked for about 3 days, and that shouldn't happen.
It's funny enough, actually, after rolling with you, I was fucked for about 3 days.
yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, but I was not just fucked like muscle wise, mentally, drained. And he was telling me as well that my estrogen levels were 0. You have to have estrogen levels for your mind and other stuff. You know what I mean? So my levels were all over the place. So I'm getting all that.
No hormonal balance, no sense of So it played havoc with you.
Everything.
Jesus, yeah.
My levels were all over the place.
It's crazy because I suppose I mean, I'm not as old as you, but I'm getting there, and I'm catching up on you. But like, it is funny. You start to kind of think of your health a lot more than you did when you were a kid.
No, but I'll tell you what I was looking at. A few things I said. I started back running last May, so I'm nearly a year now right back running. And I was saying to myself, when did I enjoy myself most as a human being, and most as an athlete, and most on the mat? It was always when I ran. Even 2011, I was running regular up to the Pan Ams. I always felt if I was running, not like, forget about, this is the thing you got to do as well, forget about times. I was going on saying, hang on a minute, when I was running in the army, I was doing me 2 miles, I was doing that in 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 15 seconds, miles. I saying, I wouldn't do that fucking now. But so what? That's 25 years, forget about that. Once you're doing it and training, you're active and you're healthy, that's the main thing, you know what I mean? So I said, when I'm back running, I felt good, so that's why I'm enjoying it and I'm back out doing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and geez, well, for the sounds of things, anyway, it's like it's something that might actually, your times might actually improve if you get yourself kind of your levels right again. Yeah, it will. Yeah, but I'm not getting caught up in it. That's the other thing as well, is that I got I felt as well when I retired from the judo that I was always going to make a comeback and not make a comeback, and everything I'd done would put, instead of say, if you said to me tomorrow, let's go down the park and let's try and cycle 100 miles, I'd say, well, hang on a minute. 100 miles, right? I better get to the top of the range bike, and I better have a train for that. I need to be, instead of saying, yeah, okay, I'm going out just with a bit of crack to cycle. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember doing the hill running, and fella said, and I was second last one night doing the hill running. I was fit at the time. I was doing this mountain season every Wednesday, the hill running. I used to go and do it, and I wasn't great at that, but I used to do it and finish it. And I came in second last one night, and I bollocks, and said to me, coach, it's fucking wankers. I came second last night. He said, yeah, but you're not a hill runner. You're doing this for your judo. You're just doing this as a
cardio exercise, the metal exercise, you're not trying to be. These are hill runners. You're a judo player. You know what I mean? So sometimes you get caught up in that competitive thing. I'm not doing that because I have to be the best. Or no, you're doing this for your sport. You know.
Yeah, I remember. I've done that so many times with so many stupid, like little things that you take up just to try and help yourself on the mat, right? And I remember like it was indoor rowing for me, and I was really competitive with this other guy, and I was like, man, I have to fucking beat. And I tried to compete so much with him in the gym that I ended up injuring myself, which it's actually pretty easy to injure yourself rowing, believe it or not, even though it's like lowering back. I ended up injuring my back because I was just trying to put in so many miles, but I couldn't. Of course, I'm never going to beat him. He's a rower.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's not your sport. You're doing rowing to improve your cardio and your fitness for your jiu-jitsu or your taekwondo, whatever you're doing at the time. That's what I had to learn that, you know, and I'm only appreciating that now. You know what I mean?
I suppose, especially as you get older, it's like these last kind of couple of chats that I've had with Liam and Tom now yourself. It's a bit like grumpy old men, isn't it? We are kind of, you start to put, you have to kind of take your age into account as well now when you get on the mat or whatever you're trying to do. Like, I mean, you know, you're not 25, you know, you're not 25 anymore. Yeah. But I think what I find about that is more than the physical side of things. I kind of accept that, you know, physically, of course, you're going to slow down, and of course, you're not going to be as quick or as strong as you. Well, maybe you can be as strong as you were. But what I find is it is hard to switch the mentality over. So your mental state from, like you said, wanting to be the best on the mat, I always just say, I have to be the hardest worker in the room. I don't care if I'm shit, right? As long as I'm the hardest worker. But physically, you can't work as hard as a 21-year-old. No. Of course you can. So even still, I still kind of go, oh yeah, I still have to be the hardest worker in the room. Which is a stupid thing to do. Because if I'm going to be like that, then I'm going to be broke up the next day. And I have to think about that.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's difficult. Very difficult.
We know. But that's, you know, I'm actually here. I'll tell you where I am now. I'm in a house full of girls. Sorry, you're lucky, you boys. I'm in a house full of girls. So I made myself a little retreat in here, a little man cave, right? And the girls are not, well, they're not allowed in, but they do come in. So give me a look. Okay. So we had a spare box room, and the girls were going to turn it into a walk-in wardrobe. And they slipped up. They were too slow. So I said, I took it. So I put it. Look now, stand up now and I'll turn it this way so you can see. So I have my little TV on the wall. That's me gun savings here. The guns. Right. That's me couch that turns into a bed. Then I have me a few little UFC and a couple of photographs, a couple of belt sets, and I have the best thing ever. Look at me little arcade machine.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
So there's 8,000 games on that.
Well, I tell you, there we go. Are they all classic arcade games, are they?
Yeah, so that's, I'm at the being playing Wonder Boy. You ever remember that now?
I remember that vaguely. Yeah, I think I might have had that. Was that? I think I could have been on the Atari. I think my mate down the road had that. I never had an Atari.
Yeah, there's a few different types, few different things on it. You know what I mean? So I hide myself up here. I do. So on this machine, right? Look, you've got all the Atari games, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Sega Mega Drive, Nintendo. That's chain bang. Look, boom, boom, and then.
Look.
This is the big one here. This has. Tell you somewhere how many games it has. I think there's fucking so many thousand on this one. So I hide up here. I do.
It's your little fortress of solitude. This was supposed to be mine. The room I'm in right now. This was supposed to be my office. And the room I'm in, I've got a dartboard on the wall. I've got something. I don't play the piano, but there's a piano down there, right? That's my wife. And then we moved the kids' Xbox in here, and now it's just their room. Turns out I'm actually renting the space off them now.
Yeah, I've the Xbox here connected up as well. Yeah, all connected up, ready to go.
That's very nice, very good.
Well, wait to show you this now.
Oh God, show me first before we go. Go on. What are you showing me?
Can you see that young skinny Andy Ryan there? See him now?
Look at him.
Pair of speedos on me there.
But you know now, you know what I have to do? I'll have to class this video as not suitable for children now. You've just YouTube. Well, listen, we've done nearly 2 hours there, I think. Would you believe? I mean, yeah, that's it. It is almost just nigh on, I think. But listen, just we'll finish up on just one little note. Have you got any just, coming back to the coronavirus things, have you got kind of any notes of, not to say hopes or anything like that? What do you think, never mind, you don't have to tell me what the world is going to be like after this kind of, we spoke earlier about it being like our World War II or like, what do you think is going to
for me,
come out of this?
For me, I think by being a bit more friendlier, that's what I noticed where I live. I noticed people on the road have been a bit more friendly, a bit more, nice talking to each other. Everyone seems to be living a healthier lifestyle. Everyone's out running and training. We have slowed the pace down. Well, I was talking to a neighbour of ours. I haven't spoken to them years because I'm either rushing in or out, or they're rushing in or out. People are taking the time now to say hello and talk to each other, which is brilliant, which is the way it should be. We grew up in a time in the 80s where, hall doors were open, the kids were on the road, and everyone was talking to everybody. Nowadays, someone moves in beside you, you don't know them for 5 or 6 years because it's work, gym, work. There's no talking and bumping into your neighbours and having a chat. So I think we're being more friendly. We're being more sporting. I went out and bought myself a mountain bike. I have a nice road bike. I bought a mountain bike in the Bike Institute. Them lads in Dorset Street looked after me. I ended up bringing Reds. I went in, and my daughter's boyfriend went in. They all bought bikes. So we're being a more friendly, I think, fitter people. But I do hope when we get back to it that we don't forget that and remember where we were. Remember how, a good friend of mine lost a brother there the other day, and his family are going through a hard time. Can't have anyone at the funeral. They're not having a mass. Can only be 10 people near the coffin. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So all these things, I'm lucky, touch wood, I haven't experienced it. But, people are going to be, some people are going to do well out of it. Some people are going to be in the shits. And us as business, we don't know where we're going to be. I have a few lads still paying their memberships. And I did a post last night saying, listen, lads, if you fucking haven't got it, you're not working, cancel straight away. Get on to me now and cancel that now. I don't need it. And if people ring me and parents ring me looking to give me money, I said, I don't need it. Once the bills are paid, what we can pay, we're happy. No one's dying. We're good. We don't need it. You know what I mean? Let's see when we get back and support the gyms and clubs. And try not use people. And if someone does come to you and they have been out of work or they're stuck, try and look after them,
Mm-hmm.
But you will get fuckers trying to take advantage. That's what I don't like about the thing as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, there's always that. It's funny, we're just on the phone to Liam there, oddly enough, and that they always say that millionaires are made in recessions, and there are people who take this as an opportunity. I mean, look, I suppose, I noticed the very same thing, like the very same thing as you. People out running, the park is full. People generally quite good at the social distancing thing, but hopefully, I think there's been a lot of reminders. You've said it. You put it in my mind there now. Like a very like growing up. Very like the way I was growing up. People in the back gardens, people in the front gardens, people waving hello to you. And maybe we lost a bit of a sense of community in the last number of years. And maybe that can come back now with this as well. And fingers crossed.
I know.
But look, we'll leave it at that, Andy. I hear we better go because I'm telling you, 2 hours is going to be a long listen for fuckers.
And listen, so don't forget when we're back. Yourself, Roger, we're going to do the 3 gyms, do 3 big super seminars, bring a few black belts, and do something for all our members. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. Everybody's been really supportive, and I've even said, like, even the guys who haven't been able to pay, I understand and haven't been able to keep it afloat.
We don't expect it.
Yeah, it's been and to do something for those guys is going to be great. Yes, we'll definitely do that, and that's in terms of the sense of community, that's a great way to start, right?
Yes. Right, Barry, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Andrew, it's been a pleasure. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
I'm dying to have a piss.
You go have that, for God's sake. All right.
Good luck.
Andy, thanks very much. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.